W.F. Howes presents an unabridged recording of The Shadow of the Soul by Sarah Pinborough, narrated by Richard Fox. If you were only given one choice, to choose or not to choose, which would you choose? Dr. Shad Helmstetter. Choices. Prologue. The vast office was cool, but as the man stared out at the bright, sandy streets of Marrakesh, sweat prickled under his linen shirt. It had nothing to do with the temperature. He looked down once again at the faxed sheet of paper that confirmed clinically what he'd been told on the telephone a mere 10 minutes before. His fingers felt clammy. His stomach churned. A strange taste filled his mouth. He knew this emotion. It had been creeping up on him for years, since the first signs that things were going wrong. He'd thought he'd understood the feeling then, but he'd been wrong. Had he truly felt it before? Ever? This terrible, terrible fear? Not like this, he concluded. Not like this at all. He shivered. His slim, manicured fingers undid the locks, and he pushed open the doors to the veranda. The smell of orange blossom and heat filled his nostrils and rushed past him to flood into the corners of his achingly stylish workspace. He stepped out onto the warm tiles. Noise rushed upwards from the busy streets beyond the garden and guarded gates that separated him from the earthy, dirty life outside. Car horns screeched and curses flew. The men leading donkeys laden with goat's milk ignored them. From one of the minarets that reached high above the uneven skyline of buildings that made up the swarming city, a muezzin began the call to prayer. Gone were the days when the simple power of the human voice reached out over the population. The modern world was too noisy. Now the callers were projected through microphones and loudspeakers. Each were battling with those others to get their holy message across. In the old days, he'd always enjoyed this human ritual of subservience. To watch people whose lives were filled with grief and pain and hardship, and which were ultimately so very, very short, commit so fully to a belief that this was the work of a loving God, filled him with mild amusement. The network had sown the seeds for these religions so long ago, and then watched them grow like aggressive weeds, part truth, part fiction, part something entirely human. For a while, he'd felt affection for them, in the way a child does.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?